Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone. We are so glad everyone's here again tonight, and we have our great speaker again, who last week, some of it was a little challenging, Patrick, but it was all great information that all entrepreneurs need to know. And so that's what's great about the video too, times like that, when you can go back and just slow it down or really grasp everything as well. So thank you for last week, and we're glad to have you back today. If anyone wasn't here, I'll just kind of quickly go over his bio, just so you know, because we didn't have everyone here last week. Patrick Alcorn helps high achievers and senior leaders in transition align their priorities with their purpose, passion, and potential so they can lead effectively, both personally and professionally. He is the founder and director of the Veteran Business Outreach Center, University of Texas, Arlington, and a John Maxwell certified executive coach, trainer, and speaker. Patrick offers live workshops, webinars, keynote speaking, and one-on-one coaching, aiding your personal and professional growth through study and practical application of John's proven leadership methods. Having served as an NCAA athlete, a U.S. Army engineer, a deputy city councilman, and an award-winning sales professional for Fortune 100 companies, he knows how to empower you to get up, get out, and keep moving, even under the most difficult circumstances. So tonight, it's Beyond Marketing 101, Best Practices for Marketing Your Business. Patrick, glad to have you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy, and welcome again to every one of you, and congratulations again on your award for this particular grant. I'm excited to be here, and I can hardly wait to get started. Thank you, especially Tracy and Donna Lisa, for including me in this program and allowing me to add value where I can add value to these wonderful women who are part of your extended family now. As you recall from last week, or from our last time together, for those of you who were not with us, we talked about financial statements and financial modeling. And this is one of the toughest, I guess, areas for all small businesses, particularly those that are solopreneurs and they don't have a full team surrounding them, so to speak. But it is critically important that you go back, take a look at that particular recording, and that you do the homework that I had pre-assigned prior to that particular course for you to get the most out of it. Don't let it be a one-time, I saw it and it's over. That is some incredibly valuable content that can make you incredibly effective in your business. So please go back, do the homework, follow the steps, and apply that in your business. So tonight we're going to be talking about marketing. Let me share my screen to get us up and running. A second. All right, so there we go. If you can see my screen clearly, go ahead and give me a wave. Awesome, looks like we're in here. So tonight we're going to be talking about marketing. This is such a critical part of your business. And so many business owners are fabulous technicians. They know how to fry the chicken. Some business owners are really, really good managers, and they know how to manage the enterprise. Very few business owners are great marketers that know how to attract customers. And so it's critical for you to understand that one of the hats that you have to wear as a business owner includes the hat of marketing director. Because without customers, you have no business. And without marketing, you have no customers. And so tonight we're going to be taking a look at why is marketing so critically important. We'll talk about the foundation of marketing, which is market research. We'll specifically talk about a strategy, and I'll share with you some tools that I use to help with my marketing in one of my businesses. And then we'll talk about how you put together your marketing plan, and we'll talk about some of the tools that are available for you in developing your marketing plan. So to get started, let's take a quick look at this particular video here as to why marketing is so critically important.
I want to talk to you about marketing.
Okay,
I'm not getting enough clients. I'm going broke.
that sounds frustrating. Can you start by telling me what you do?
I sell a supplement product called Amazing Green Juice.
Got it. Amazing. Green juice.
Would you like to join the company?
Pardon?
If you sign up as a distributor, you get a big discount on the prices.
I understand, but
This is not the usual MLM. This one is different.
let's slow down for a minute. Okay. So you sell this product. To whom are you selling it?
That's the best part. This can help anyone.
So your perfect audience is.
Everyone.
There are almost 7 billion people in the world.
It could help them all. I want to reach everyone. Would you like to sign up under me? There's a special.
So, your target market is the whole planet.
Yes.
Okay. I think this may be your problem. Most businesses fail because they have no idea of who they are trying to reach.
I know who I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach everyone.
Right. And this is where things break down. When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to everyone. You can't please everyone. After all, if your target market is everyone, then how can you know where to find them? Or how to word your marketing materials to them? Or where to advertise? Does this make sense?
No.
What?
They are easy to find. They are everywhere. I can advertise anywhere.
I thought you were broke.
I am so broke. I can't even afford a pancake. I am hungry. Will you buy me a pancake?
No. I will not buy you a pancake.
I want a pancake.
This is ridiculous. I will not buy you a pancake.
You can take the money you would have spent on the pancake and buy me a bottle of Amazing Green Juice.
No.
You could live on just Amazing Green Juice forever.
No.
It is alkalizing.
No.
It is 100% raw.
No.
It is certified organic.
No. Please stop.
It affects you and heals you on a cellular level.
What does that even mean? Do you have any idea what it means? That is marketing fluff. It doesn't mean anything.
It is also fully certified fair trade. And it is vegan. And gluten-free. And no trans fats.
Why would there be trans fats in a green drink?
There aren't.
So, you're broke.
Yes.
And your target market is everyone.
Yes.
So you can advertising anywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
How will you afford that when you can't even afford to buy yourself a pancake?
Oh.
Do you see the problem?
Yes. Thank you. I will do all of my marketing word of mouth and grassroots then. I will spend my time instead of my money.
Do you have any idea how much time it would take you to reach 7 billion people?
I don't care. I am on a mission. This is my life's purpose. I will do it.
Even if you only spent 1 minute per person.
I will do it.
That's 7 billion minutes.
I will do it.
That would take you 13,318 years. During which time you would still be broke because you would never sell anyone your product in 1 minute. 13,000 years without even being able to afford a pancake.
Oh.
So do you see why narrowing your target market might be useful and actually save you time and money? By choosing one group to focus on, it will help you spend every penny and every minute on something that is much more likely to get you business.
Okay.
Good. You have realized that you need to focus your marketing on a narrower group than every human in existence who has ever lived. This is a good start. Next, we will talk about how to identify target markets that can work best for you. We will look at the difference between a good target market and a bad one.
Awesome. So how many of you have experienced that, or you saw yourself in that video? I see you, Julie. Yeah, it's interesting that in our office, and I'm sure that Tracy and Donna Lisa run into the same thing, all of our resource partners and all of us who work on the advising side of advising small businesses at one time or another, we run into this small business owner who believes so much in their product and their service that they are confident that the entire world is their market. They are confident that the entire world needs, wants, and will purchase their service. or a product. And what I often share with them is this scenario right here, not only that video, but here's another example for you. How many different types of bottled water can you name? If you were to start naming bottled waters right now, go ahead and type into the chat the names of some of the bottled waters that you're familiar with. Or you can unmute yourself and you can shout out loud. So Dasani, Evian, keep going. Aquafina, keep it going there. Fiji, vitamin water. Ozarka, great value. And we can keep going on and on and on and on. So if you look at all the water that you guys are putting in the chat right now, not one single one of those water distributing companies believes that their market is the entire world. Every last one of those water distributing companies, they understand and they recognize that there is a specific customer that is going to buy their water. You don't go into a Whole Food store and buy Great Value water. Great Value is Walmart's brand. That's the sticker that Walmart put on their brand. And likewise, typically you don't go into Walmart and are able to find specialty brands like Fiji or some of the higher end bottled waters that you would find in some of the specialty stores, so to speak. These businesses, these companies recognize and understand that their product caters to and will be purchased by a specific customer that's in the marketplace. And it's important for you to understand and to recognize that marketing in itself, let me back up and say that sales is what it takes for you to move your product through the hands of a customer. Service is how you maintain customers, but marketing is actually how you attract customers. And without marketing, you have no customers. So it's critical for you to understand the role of marketing. But when you market, you have to also understand that marketing falls within a budget, because marketing takes time, it takes money, and it takes other types of resources. So if you think about what you saw in this video here, you have to identify the market that you can afford to reach. And we call that your target market. Those are the individuals that are going to exchange dollars and cents. In other words, they're going to give you dead presidents in exchange for your product or service. And there's only so many that you can reach. Maybe tomorrow, your market might be the world. But today, your market is where your marketing budget can reach. And you can begin to expand on that as you grow your business and you grow your marketing budget. You can begin to expand and reach more customers, but you've got to start somewhere. For those of you that already have customers, open up your microphone for me and give me a quick story of your very first customer. Erica, I've known you for some time and you've been in business for a minute here. So if you would, open up your microphone and just describe your very first customer, how you found them, and that transaction that took place.
My very first customer was Jim with the Veteran Friday Formation Group, and he paid for me to sponsor one of their events, and I got 20 cheesecakes for the first event. But my next one that was in my target market was at a farmer's market. I set up at a farmer's market and I gave out samples, and the first person told me that they had to stay off sugar and they were really excited and they were gluten-free and they were really excited to try my product. So that was the first non-military person that paid for, besides my parents, they paid for my product for a while.
Awesome. So I know Jim, I knew of Jim. And so apparently you attracted Jim. In other words, you marketed to Jim and got Jim to buy into your product through your network. You had a relationship with him and you knew him. Correct?
Yes, Correct. And I was a veteran business and he was giving back to other veterans that were giving to him, I think, is what
Okay.
it was. So it was a reciprocal relationship.
Awesome. Awesome. Would anyone else like to share, or who else would like to share about their very first customer?
So I will. Because I'm so excited. I've only been in business since February, but I got my first contract today. So I'm very excited about that.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's for a nonprofit organization. We're creating their HIPAA training and implicit bias and some other HR type training. So very excited.
Okay. And how did you attract that customer?
Through a friend. I learned about her organization and we kind of talked. I was in education before I did this. And so we kind of talked about kids because they cater to kids and homeless youth and youth of poverty. And so we just kind of started talking about philosophies and everything. And I told her I was getting ready to build this business. And she said she had some extra funds that came in through grants because they need some training created for them. And then also for some of their programming. And so that's how it just came to be.
Thank you very much, Shauna, for sharing. So as many of you heard from our two examples here, most of us, when we go into business, our very first customer is part of our inner circle. They're part of our network. They're someone that we, in some way, shape, or form, we are connected to. And through some sort of reciprocal relationship, we were able to convince them or someone in their network to purchase our product and service. But that begins to die down very rapidly. And as you seek to grow and expand your business, you've actually got to have a marketing plan. You've actually got to have a marketing strategy to be able to attract new customers. And so the way that you begin with your marketing strategy is you first have to start with market research. It is critically important. This is the foundation of your marketing. It's critically important that you know every single possible thing that there is to know about your customer. How in the world can you attract me as a customer if you know nothing about me? How in the world can you solve my problem and convince me that your product or service is the solution to my problem if you have no idea what my problem is? If you have no idea how much money I have, when I buy, where I buy, how I buy, if you don't understand the psychodynamics of my decision-making and why I make the decisions that I make, how can you persuade me to make a decision to purchase your product or service? So the foundation of great marketing is marketing research. Let's listen to what Bernadette says about about finding that target market.
Today on Bernadette TV, finding your niche, including 6 key questions you can ask yourself to get clear on your niche today. Bernadette Doyle here from Bernadette TV, online TV to help you be the best you can be in your business and your life. And today we're talking about finding your niche, or niche, as my friends on the other side of the pond like to say. So why do you need to find your niche? The fastest growing and most profitable firms position themselves as specialists. These firms have a well-defined target market and a well-defined set of services that clearly differentiates them. Here's a definition of a niche from businessdictionary.com. A small but profitable segment of a market suitable for focused attentions by a marketer. Market niches do not exist by themselves but are created by identifying needs or wants that are not being addressed by competitors and by offering products that will satisfy them. So how do you find your niche? You already have an area of expertise that would meet the needs of a large group of people. It's simply a question of identifying that group and then working out how to reach them. There are people in the world who need what you have to offer, and you don't have to suffer to either find or help them. I truly believe that our talents and passions have been given to us to meet and fill a corresponding need somewhere in the world. I love this quote by Frederick Buechner. The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. So some people say, Can you do what you love and the money will follow? Well, I beg to differ slightly. Over the years, I've met hundreds of people who are doing what they love, but the money is definitely not following. So I would put it this way: do what you love. Communicate this effectively to the people in the world who most need it and are motivated to pay for it, and then the money will follow. The fact is, you can do what you love and be well rewarded for it, but you need to match up your own skills and talents with those people in the world who most need what you have to offer. It's not enough to do what you love and simply hope that the right people will get to hear about you. As Julia Gresser puts it in his book, Piloting Through Chaos, we earn what we want by connecting our gifts to the concerns of others. So it's not all about you. Stop indulging yourself in the questions like, well, who on earth would be interested in anything little old me has to offer? Or what makes me special? Start by paying attention to what is going on outside of you. People don't buy because they understand what you do. They buy because they feel you understand them and what they need. Be practical and pay attention to what is needed right now. It wasn't my intention to specialise on cold calling 17 years ago. It wasn't my dream. When I was at university, I definitely didn't have written down in one of my dream journals, I hope that when I graduate, I will become known as one of the UK's cold calling experts. That wasn't my plan. But by being pragmatic with where there was an opportunity in the marketplace, that was where I started out. It's something that I've evolved out of since, but that was where I started. So here's an action plan to help you find your marketing niche. Start by answering the following questions. Who most needs what I have to offer? Who do I feel most called to serve? What payoff do people get from my expertise? Who have I already helped? Even if you aren't in business yet, you may have already helped relatives, colleagues, or friends. How have I helped them? What do they have in common? What common problems, goals, needs, wants, or desires did they share? This may look like a few harmless questions, but it's a powerful exercise because it shifts your attention from what you think is important and focuses on those people who need your help. While you may be lucky and find that your specialism and your target audience is something that comes to you with a blinding clarity, you should also feel comfortable if it is something that emerges over time. Don't worry if this process feels untidy. My personal experience with this is identifying a specialism feels more like the silhouette of a building emerging through fog than a neat box-ticking process. You might want to spend several days on this, allowing thoughts and ideas to mull until the answers materialize. So now it's time for action. I want you to come on over to my blog, bernadettedoyle.com, and share with me how this video
Awesome. So Bernadette talks about finding your niche market. And the reason we went down that road is to help you understand that when you are marketing, you should always be marketing to a niche, not marketing to the whole world, but marketing to a specific customer that you're wanting to attract to purchase your product or service. You can have, and your marketing strategy could include campaigns for various niches and for various groups and types of customers that you're wanting to attract. But the communication needs to be very, very specific for the customer that you're trying to attract. In essence, marketing is communicating effectively to those who most need your product and service and are willing to pay for it. That's the goal of marketing. That's what it is that you're doing. And market research is critical for you to understand and discover who is it that most needs your product or service. What is it that they need your product or service for? In my financial services business, my customers or my target market is age 25 to 45. I'm typing, so it may be, my speaking may be broken up a little bit because I'm typing as I'm speaking. It's age 25 to 45. They're married. They have children. They own their own home. They have household income of $100,000 or more. And they have investable assets of $250,000 or more. And they live in 9 zip codes in and around where I live. That's my target market. I can tell you everything there is to know about those folks who are aged 25 to 45, married with children, on their own home, have household income of $100,000 or more, and investable assets of $250,000 or more, that live in these 9 zip codes in and around where I live, which is where I market my financial services to. I can tell you what houses they live in, what cars they drive. I can tell you what cleaners they shop at. I can tell you what grocery stores they shop at. I can tell you what churches they attend. I can tell you what parks and recreation centers they hang out with their kids. I can tell you when they're on vacation and what types of vacations they take. I can tell you what kind of cars they drive. I can tell you what kind of money they're spending on extracurricular activities, what type of vacations they are taking. I can tell you what their primary problem is and what it is that they need from me and why they would choose me as their financial advisor. All this information was gathered through market research. And I didn't do this research on my own. I use a very familiar organization out there that many of you should be familiar with, and that is the Small Business Development, I'm typing again, Small Business Development Center, the SBDC. They're experts in local market research. I literally went to the SBDC, I described my customer to them, and the SBDC did the research and generated a report and came back to me and said, Patrick, there's 17,000 households in these 9 zip codes that meet that criteria. In my market research and through industry data, I learned that I make $600 per month per household. If you translate that times 17,000 households, that translates into my market being 120, I'm typing again, that's why I'm talking like this, $122 million per year strong. I'm missing a zero on that, but I think you guys see what that is. But that's $122 million a year is the size of my market. This is the level of detail that you need in your market research. Why is that? You need this level of detail in your market so that you can understand what type of budget you need to set aside and what type of budget you need to be working with from a marketing standpoint. I know that there's no way possible that all 17,000 households are going to choose me as their financial advisor. But when I do my financial statements and my financial analysis, when I do my projections, right, and I create my pro forma and I create my estimates, I can make the assumption, if I'm any good as a financial advisor, if I'm any good solving customers' problems, if I'm any good marketing and attracting customers, I can make a guess that I can capture 0.1% of that 17,000. And so that would be 0.001 times 17,000, which equals 17 households. Again, I'm typing, which translates to $122,000 per year for my business. Now think about this. The financial services industry is a $400 trillion industry, but I don't serve the industry, right? There's no way for me to reach in my back pocket, pull out my marketing budget, and get my message out to the entire industry where I have access to that $400 trillion. But I am able to reach into my pocket, into my marketing budget, and print enough business cards that I can put business cards on the countertops at cleaners in those 9 zip codes where I'm servicing my customers. I can print enough flyers where I can put flyers on the community bulletin boards in the grocery stores in those 9 zip codes where those 17,000 potential customers are. I can go to the parks and recreation centers and I can hang my banner on the fence of a baseball field or on the wall of a basketball gym to let folks know that I'm available for them as a financial advisor because I have enough money. I can't do that all across the state of Texas, but I can do that at specific areas within my target market of 9 zip codes. And as my business grows, I can now put another banner in another gymnasium. I put more flyers in more grocery stores and more business cards on more cleaners countertops. And I can put more ads in community bulletin boards and church bulletins and things of that nature because I know where these customers are. It comes back down to dollars and cents. If I had no idea how many customers they were, I might be spending my money and only find out that, let's say that there were only 17 customers, period, in the entire market that met my criteria. What's the likelihood that all 17 customers would choose me as their financial advisor if there were only 17 total customers in the entire market? I see Erica shaking her head. You're right, it's slim and none. If there's only 17 potential customers in the entire market, the likelihood that all 17 of them would choose me was slim and none. Well, the answer is the same. The likelihood that all 17,000 would choose me is still slim and none. But I can make some estimates. I can make a guess that I can get 0.1%. When you know the size of your market, you can make conscious decisions about how much money you want to spend to attract customers from that market. The market research, that's why I'm spending so much time right here. The market research is absolutely critical. You need the detail. You need the demographic detail. What are their ages? What is their income level? What are their daily activities? What's their daily life like? So on and so forth. Why do they spend money? How often do they spend money? What do they spend money on? All of that demographic, the psychographic information. How do they make decisions? I know that these folks that are aged 25 to 45, the primary problem that they have is they don't want to be like their parents. They don't want to be like their broke parents. Their parents who didn't get a chance to show up for them at their peewee sports because they were both working jobs. If you notice today's parents are spending lots of time with their kids and they're involved in their kids' activities. They're spending time on the soccer fields. They're spending time in the gymnasiums with them. They're spending time at all of their peewee sports and hanging out with them and so forth. These parents that are in this age, 25 to 45, are not trying to be like their parents who are never there, who weren't there for them. These folks today who are aged 25 to 45, they're not trying to get a 30-year mortgage and spend their entire life trying to pay down that 30-year mortgage of these huge houses. They would much rather get a house that they can afford and spend their money on vacations. They're into family time. They're into hanging out and doing it. And even when they don't have a family, they're into spending time and enjoying life today, as opposed to trying to get this big house where they're spending 30 years. They're not into working 30 years for an employer with the hope of getting that gold watch. They don't mind changing jobs every 2 to 3 to sometimes 5 years at a maximum. When you understand that about your customer and you understand their psychology, now you can go into creating your marketing strategy to say, now that I know this about these customers, how can I attract them? They're not going into the grocery stores anymore. They're getting grocery store delivery. And that was even before the coronavirus. This group of new parents, they were getting groceries delivered to them. Even before coronavirus hit, they were already trending for delivery of groceries. If you know that, then you know that one of the things that you can include in your marketing is a flyer that you can get the grocery stores to sit inside of the grocery bag, so that when your groceries show up at their house, you got a flyer in that grocery bag. If you didn't know that their groceries were being delivered to them, you'd miss that marketing opportunity. If you didn't know that they shopped at this grocery store and you didn't know that that grocery store had a community bulletin board, you would miss that marketing opportunity. So all of these marketing opportunities, the more you know about your customer, the better you can market to your customer. What questions and comments do you guys have about market research and the importance of market research before I move on?
Well, Patrick, I have way I do it. So mine's, you know, my market is military women, right? Both
Okay.
active duty and veterans with the combat boot story. And when I started out, I was targeting the women veterans events that were going on regardless, and I was all over Texas. But what I found was I do better if I just do a whole veterans event with male and females, because the psychology behind it is when a female veteran sees something for females out there, they like flock to the tent, right? My
Right.
canopy and stuff, because they see something, they identify something with themselves that's not for like really the males. I mean, there's stuff for the guys, but really it's for them, and they know that. And then it just becomes a gathering tent where everybody's sharing stories, and there's nowhere else at events like that, you know. And so just doing women's veterans event, unless it's Women Veterans Day, really the market's in a whole big veteran group. But that was over trial and watching the money. And then, I mean, this last event I did, I got invited to another event at the end of August. It's a motorcycle rally, 4 states, all veteran motorcycle guys. But the guy was like, oh my God, this is perfect, because I never have anything for females, you know? So that was just, it's hands-on market research, but I don't think I could have gotten that. Really, that's more the psychology of it than getting in the numbers.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. And Lisa just gave us a perfect example of the importance of never ending your market research. Never stop researching your customer and finding out where they are and who they are and how they buy and where they buy. The perfect example of that is Blockbusters. How many of you have seen a Blockbuster anywhere in the past 10 years? I would guess it would be about now. The only one I believe is left somewhere out in Montana, I think is where it is. The only blue and yellow Blockbuster building that still survives is somewhere out in Montana. And what's interesting, if you know the Blockbuster story, is Blockbuster had the exact same information that their competitors had, but they chose not to act on that information. They chose to continue to look internally and become experts on who they were as a video store. They chose to figure out, they chose to focus on building more stores and perfecting their stores and so forth, and not researching their customer and understanding that the customer's demand was changing. The customer's needs was changing. The customer's problem was changing. The customer was no longer satisfied with or interested in going into a brick and mortar building to pull a video off the shelf. The customer now wanted to access that content anywhere they wanted to on any device that they had at their hand at any time that they wanted to access it. And so Netflix model shifted that all the way to streaming. The same thing with their financial model. Blockbuster was charging people per video every time you checked out a video, and then charge you a late fee every time you turn a video in. They didn't continue to research their customers. Had they researched their customers, they would have set up some sort of subscription program. Like Netflix came in. When Netflix came into market, they came in with a subscription because they understood that people were more willing to pay one price for access to the content versus having to pay for each and every piece of content that they were receiving. And all of that information and that knowledge comes from the continual research of your customers. What other questions or comments do you have regarding market research?
I can piggyback on what Lisa said about markets. Like, I thought my market was diabetics and that they were the ones that really needed my product. And when I got out there, I found that the keto people were the ones that were going to come after me, do videos about me, go on social media to tell all their friends about me. And so I changed my market. I changed my niche just because of getting out there and talking to customers.
And what's neat about that, thank you, Erica, for sharing. What's neat about that is things can and likely will come full circle for you. As you found your target market that allows you to penetrate that market, because these are the folks that are saying to you, you are solving my problem and I'm ready to spend money with you today to solve my problem. And as you begin solving that target customer's problem, the rest of the world looks in and says, hey, Wonder if that would work for me too. And you might find yourself right back in the diabetes market. But today, Erica, you didn't have the money to reach in your pocket, your marketing budget, and go after the diabetes customer and the keto customer and the people who just want sweets cut. And you didn't have the money to go after every last one of them, because it's critical that your message is a targeted message to attract the customer that's willing to give you the money today. Does that make sense, everyone?
It's true, though. The diabetics are now finding me because I focus just on the keto, and they're like, oh, we can have this too.
Exactly. Awesome. So the next thing is, after you get your market research, and again, remember the point I wanted to make about market research is that market research never, ever ends. You don't find your niche market and all of a sudden you stuck there and you think you know everything about them. You never know everything about them. You should constantly be updating your research and constantly gathering information, paying attention to the trends and the changes and the psychographics and the demographics and everything that's going on as your market shifts. You should constantly be doing that research. And one of the most effective ways to do the research is to research and survey the customers that you actually have. Don't ever miss the opportunity that when somebody buys a product from you to ask them the question, what prompted you to buy this? Why did you buy this product or service? Never miss that opportunity to ask that question. That is the best market research that you'll ever get. And that's what we call primary market research. That's where you get the information directly from the customer themselves. Find out why did they buy this product or service, and then find out, had they not bought this product or service, what would have been their alternative? Where would they have gone? What would they have done if they didn't run into you, so on and so forth, so that you can begin researching your competition and understand what your value proposition is versus your competition. What's your unique value? What's your distinguishing qualities of your product and service versus your competition? You don't have to guess about it. Ask your customers, why did you choose me? Why did you purchase my product or service? And so forth. So the next thing, after as you make part of that market research, as you get your market research going, and you have a regular market research funnel. In other words, you're constantly gathering information from your customers and about your customers. Now you're in position to create a marketing strategy. Strategy is the 30,000-foot view that says, here is what based upon the customers that I'm targeting, here are the tools that are available to me to go out and capture a customer, and so forth. And I'm going to run through some of these alongside with you, but let me start with the marketing message here in the center of your screen. The marketing message. You have to have a very specific message about your product, your service, your company, and that's designed for your very specific customer. And so this particular sheet right here, this comes from one of the tools that I use to help coach and consult with my clients. And what I have them do is I have them in this top line here. Are you guys seeing my finger across the screen? Because I don't know if you're seeing my finger. Okay, good. So I have them in this top line right here, talk about what customer segment are they targeting. So if we looked in Erica's case and we say the keto customer, so on this top line, she would put the keto customer on this top line. And then right here, she would begin to describe what is her core message. What is the core message about her company, right? What do clients say about her company? Are there any client testimonials? What is it about her company that's different from the competition? And as she compares herself to the competition, and how does her company what's her company's fit in the marketplace out there? So this is really a description. And she comes up with some key phrases that says, this is who we are, what we represent. But now she needs to have a specific message about her product or service. In Erica's case, it's a product. She needs to talk about the quality of the product, about the service she provides. That once you get a product from me, how do we take care of you? Now that you are a customer, what do we do for you? Do we put you in some sort of campaign? And I'll talk about that here on the left in just a second. And then what's the flexibility that we have? Is our product canned? Is it specific? Or can we modify our product? Can you get our product in different flavors? Can you get our product in different sizes? Can you get our product in different bundles and things of that nature and so forth? And then the same thing, she needs to have a very specific pricing plan. A very specific pricing plan. How does your price compare to your competitors? And so forth. What if a customer needs to return a product? What's your strategy there? What do you do? And so forth. And do you have bulk pricing? Do you have pricing that comes when people purchase from you or do business with you on an ongoing basis and so forth? Discounts and things of that nature. And there's some blank lines here for you to add some other things about your product and some other things about your pricing and or your company. You can fill out the blank line. And then the risk. Understand, making sure that you are able to communicate to your clients, to your customers, what's the risk of not doing business with you? If they don't get a product or service from you, what are the challenges that they might run into and so forth? So this is one of the tools that I use out there. I'm going to click on this and take you into that database for me. Let me know if that pops up on the screen. If not, I might have to reshare. Are you guys seeing a new screen? Okay, so let me stop and reshare this new screen. So the new screen that I'm sharing, what you just saw comes from my tool that I use. It's a growth wheel. It's a tool called Growth Wheel. It's a tool that I use to work with entrepreneurs and small business owners to help them make decisions and take action. And specifically, I'm looking right now at the area of marketing to help you best decide how to best market your products. And what you were looking at just now was this tool that I call the marketing message tool. That's what you saw on the slide that I just shared with you. And that's what we just walked through was the marketing message tool. Are you seeing the blow up of that? Okay, yeah, so the marketing message tool is what you just saw. Beyond, I have other decision sheets that are in there. And one of the other decision sheets that we'll talk about when we get to the next part, it was called the marketing mix. The marketing mix tool, this is a tool, I can't slide it over, but in this particular tool, you get to decide what different types of media and messages are you going to use for your various customer segments. How are you going to advertise? What are you going to do digitally, online and in print material? What are you going to do online? Are you going to use any direct mail? Are you going to put ads in any types of publications? What type of promotions are you going to run? And all of this right here becomes a part of you putting together your marketing plan and so forth. And different customers, as you can look here for specific customers, different customers need you to communicate with them through a different type of media. There might be a customer that Lisa's trying to reach because she goes to conferences and she displays at conferences and she gets customers who's selling her products through her display booth at conferences. There may be a publication that she may want to be in where all of these conferences have their conference publications. Or maybe there's an association that hosts all the types of conferences that Lisa wants to be at, and she needs to publish inside of that particular publication because everybody who goes to conferences reads that publication and so forth. Maybe there's special digital media, special online resources and social media groups that she needs to bring. Maybe she needs to start a blog, or maybe there's a blog that she needs to connect to and partner with in order to help move and get the word out about her product or service. But all of these tools are available when it comes to creating your particular marketing plan.
And then I'm sure like the rest of us, Patrick, we go, how many minutes are in the day? You know?
Well, the neat thing about it is each one of these tools, if you spend more than 20 minutes working on any one of the tools that I send you, you're overthinking. These tools are literally designed for you to sit there and brainstorm and in 20 minutes just respond. Because you got to remember, marketing is an ongoing thing. You're not going to sit down today and create this full-blown marketing plan that's never going to change. What you're going to do is you're going to sit down today, you're going to set the kitchen timer for 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes, maybe all you do is work on the advertising part. And so for 20 minutes a day, you do just the advertising. And then tomorrow you come back for 20 minutes and you do the digital. And the next day you come back and you do this. I typically recommend to my clients, if you're spending more than 20 minutes on anything, you're already distracted and you're wasting time. Because the human brain can't focus for more than about 17 minutes at a time. The adult human brain can't focus for more than about 17 minutes at a time. After 17 minutes, you're distracted. You're thinking about what's for dinner. Some of you are doing that right now. You're thinking about what's for dinner. You're thinking about the television show that you're missing. You're thinking about how you're going to spend this money that you got from this grant. You're thinking about the clothes that you need to put in the laundry or get out of the laundry. All types of distractions are coming in. You're thinking about your kid and the kid that came home and what you're going to do. But after 17 minutes, you already lost focus. So I literally recommend to my clients, if you're spending more than 20 minutes, you're wasting time. Spend 20 minutes and then go on with the rest of your life and just give me 20 more minutes tomorrow. Spend 20 minutes and then give me 20 more minutes tomorrow. And continue to do that. Success doesn't come from doing anything extraordinary, ladies and gentlemen. It comes from doing the ordinary consistently well. You'll get more mileage in your business by focusing for 20 minutes on something than you will on spending 2 and 3 hours trying to get it done. What questions or comments do you have about this tool and about the importance of having a marketing mix that might include all of these different things that I've talked about?
Are we going to have access to this? Or
yes, you have access to this. Let me see if I put it in the chat. If not, then just contact us at the VBOC and register as a client, and all of our clients have access to it. Right? But I'll see if I can put it in the chat before we go. I'll make sure that you have it as part of the handouts from today's call. So Donna, Lisa, and Tracy will have that as part of the handouts. But I want to make sure that you understand this is just a tool. So don't focus on the tool that I'm pointing out to you. Focus on the concept that I'm sharing with you, right? You can create your own tool. What you have to understand is it's important for you to know that when you're talking about attracting customers, the more you know about your customers, the more you need to gather the tools necessary to reach your customers. You will know if your customers, if you can attract your customers through a publication. You'll know if you can attract your customers through a trade show. You'll know if you can attract your customers through digital and or print media. You will know right up front. The more you know about your customers, you'll be able to create the correct marketing mix based upon your target customers. The secret is to not get wrapped up in the thinking that this is the only way to reach your customers. I go to trade shows. I'm giving an example. I go to trade shows. If I think that the only way I'm going to attract my customers is at trade shows, I probably don't know very much about my customers. That may have been how I caught my first customer. It may be how I get my second customer, but it's not how I'm going to, it's likely not to be how I'm going to expand and grow my business. There's got to be another venue. There's got to be another media that I can use to attract my customers. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. Not so much the tool, but I'm trying to share with you the thinking that you have to have as an entrepreneur and understanding that it's important for you to go beyond the one method that you've been using to attract your customers. Does that make sense? Awesome. So let me get back to sharing here. Stop sharing. And then go back to the other screen. So the other thing that you'll see here on the left-hand side of my screen, this is all included in my marketing strategy. So as an executive coach, I have these tools available to me in my marketing strategy. So one of the things that I do is I do challenges every now and then. So I do 7-day and 14-day challenges. And they're free challenges, and they're usually social media challenges. So on social media, I will go out there and I'll put together, say, a procrastination challenge. And I'll challenge people to do certain things over the next 7 days. And what I'm really doing is I'm building up my list of prospects by getting people to join this challenge. And for 7 days, they're going to have interaction with me and connect with me through this particular challenge. And at the end of that challenge, I've now learned so much about them because of how they commented in Facebook and commented on my Facebook page and in that Facebook challenge. And now with that information, I can go back and I can develop a very specific sales piece to attract that customer because of the information I gathered from the challenge. I have educational email series where I go out there and I'll say, and I'll stay on the subject of procrastination. I'll go out there and I'll send a series of emails. So I'll have maybe 5 emails that I'll send on procrastination that I'm not selling anything. All I'm doing is educating them and talking to my database about procrastination. And I'll give them 1 email, a second email, and then 3 days later, another email, and then 3 days later, another email, and then maybe 4 days later, an email. And I have a series of email, and I have these campaigns. I have 20 email campaigns, 10 email campaigns, 5 email campaigns. So I have different types of email series that I've already put together that I send out to my database. And from that email series, I can tell who's opening the emails and who's reading the emails. And I can tell how they're responding to the emails. And based upon that feedback, now I know what I need to do to attract that customer. The folks who don't open that email, I know that's not a topic that they're interested in. So I can't attract them by telling them that as a coach, I can help them through procrastination. That's not an issue for them. That's not an issue they're interested in learning about, interested concerning. So I try all of these different topics through email series. I have email challenges. So the same way that I do a challenge on Facebook where folks are challenged, I can do the same type of challenge through email. I have a class where I can teach classes on Facebook, the same thing as a webinar, WebEx. So I have multiple classes that I do. Focus groups. And you can see, I'm not going to go down through the list, but every last one of these things that you're seeing here is included in my marketing strategy. And I literally have a calendar out there. Let's see, I'll open that page for you. And I know it's not going to share, so I may as well go over there and reshare it. So this is my marketing tool. I literally have a calendar out there from January to December where I create campaigns that I automate, and these campaigns just happen as I've already put them in, as I put them in the system. And I have a full calendar, and that calendar actually goes through and shows exactly what I'm doing and what communications I'm having. So you can see here, right here, that I did a work-life balance challenge, right here. The work-life balance challenge, that's what the essay is. And then I did a procrastination support group. This is a Facebook challenge that I did. So all these are me sharing on Facebook. These are share symbols. And this happened on July 1st. Today, where are we? We're at the 13th. So today, these 2 things went out. I went out to today. So today, this procrastination event went out today, and this work-life balance event went out today. And all of this is me staying connected to and marketing to my database, to my customers, to learn more about them, to stay connected to them, so that in the end, I can sell them a product or service from me. And so, again, don't focus on the tool, focus on what I'm sharing with you. You need a marketing calendar. Don't just arbitrarily shoot from the hip where you say, well, I think I'm going to go to this event. I think I'm going to put an ad in here. I think I'm going to write a Facebook post today. I think I'd like to. No, don't do that. Start right now today and create your entire annual calendar, your calendar for the entire year. Maybe you break it down and you do it a quarter at a time, but the bottom line is don't shoot from the hip and do it a day at a time. Create the actual marketing calendar where you can look at the calendar and you can say, I know what I'm doing on that day. I know what I'm doing on that day. I know what I'm doing on that day. And on each and every day, you know what it is that you're doing to attract people to your business. Every day I know exactly what I'm doing to attract people to my business. This was my June campaign. This was my May campaign. This is what I did in May. And we go all the way back and so on and so forth. And we can go all the way forward. And you can see the different things that I do to continue to attract my clients. In my tool, I have what's called a campaign library. So these are all the things that are available to me to help me market to my clients, right? I've got, let me see if I can narrow it down for you here. In my coaching business, just alone, these are the different things that I can do in my coaching business, right? And I can just, and these are campaigns that I've already built and they're already set up and ready to rock and roll. All I got to do is put them on the calendar and they automatically start to happen. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying, if you don't create your own campaigns, there are tools and resources out there where you can hire someone or you can interact and work with someone to help you create campaigns, right? Or you can find a marketer to market for you. But when you find a marketer, don't believe the hype. Someone who says to you, I can attract millions of customers to you and I can do this, that, and the other thing. Make sure that they show you an actual marketing calendar and something that they're very specifically going to do to attract customers to you and to your business. So what questions do you have about the tool, not about the tools, about the thinking that I'm sharing with you and the importance of having an actual annual calendar?
I think it's a good idea. Just because I know that I'm not a marketing specialist, Justina helps me out a lot. If we could have like a hands-on walkthrough, that would be good too. I don't know if that's something that you provide at the VBOC at UT Arlington, but that would be a good idea, you know, just to put the theory that you're talking about into practice.
We do have that available, and Tracy and Donna Lisa had that within their program at Texas Women's University as well in their Entrepreneur Center. And most of our resource partners can help you with that. But it's important for you, and thank you for, is it Shay or Shay?
It's Shay.
It's Shay. Shay. Thank you for that question and for that comment, Shay. But you're absolutely right. You are surrounded by resource partners. With Tracy and Donna Lisa there at Texas Women's University, your SBDCs, your scores, us here at the VBOC, so on and so forth, and other organizations all across the state and all throughout this Dallas-Fort Worth ecosystem for entrepreneurs. There's lots of support. The Women's Business Center, there's lots of support out there to help you execute the content that I'm sharing with you today. But it's critical for you, right? You only get an answer to the questions that you ask. So you've got to go out and ask the right questions. If you don't go to Donna Lisa or Tracy and say, I need help with a marketing strategy, I'm wanting to do this, this, and that, or I need help with marketing research, I'm trying to figure out these numbers, or I need, the more specific your questions are, the better that all of the resource partners can assist you. What you've got to learn to do and what you've got to focus on doing is learning how to work on your business instead of just in your business. In your business, you're constantly trying to take care of your next customer and serve your next customer and deliver your next product or service. That's working in your business. Working on your business is you stepping back 30,000 feet and saying, how am I attracting customers? And what do I need to do to attract customers as a whole, right? It's not so much looking at that one customer and figuring out how you're going to get your product and service into that one customer's hand, but it's stepping back and looking at your business and saying, how is my business going to attract customers? Does that make sense, Shay? Awesome. And so the last thing I want to talk about here is your marketing plan. So in your plan, as you're putting this together and you're putting this calendar together, remember, think about the calendar that I just shared with you. When you're putting this calendar together, the calendar should always, everything that you do from a marketing standpoint in your marketing plan should include the 4 Ps. The place, in other words, where are you going to do it? Are you going to do it online? Are you going to do it in person? Are you going to do it in this publication, in that publication? Are you going to do it at this event or that event? What is the place that is going to take place? What is the place that you're going to connect with your very next client? Where is that place that your next client is going to learn about you? Where is that place that your business is going to be? A brick and mortar business says that my customer is going to connect with me at 701 Southwest Street, Arlington, Texas, 76019. If I'm a brick and mortar building, my customer connects with me at that building. But that's not the only place they connect with me, right? I've got to get them to the building. If my product and service is something that's sold out of my building, I've got to get them to my building. Well, what place am I going to connect with them at? So in my financial services business, I connect with clients at the local parks and recreation centers. I show up and I meet them in the stands while they're there with their kids. And I know that after they finish the soccer game, that they're going out to eat with the family. So guess where else I meet them? I meet them at the restaurant. So I host seminars at the restaurants, free seminars at the restaurants. And that's another place that I meet them and so forth. So what are the different places? Then it's your price. All your marketing, there's 2 prices that you got to be thinking about. When I say price, I'm also talking about cost. So what's the cost of your marketing? How much can you afford to pay to attract the very next customer? And what price are you charging your customer for your product or service? Because that price will determine what customer you're attracting. I have 2 clients that I work with. One is Southern California, and she is a counselor, and she charges $375 an hour for her counseling. I have another client right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area who provides the same type of counseling, and she charges $75 an hour for her counseling. It's the same counseling, so forth. Price makes a difference. The counselor in California attracts high-end clients, typically clients that are in the entertainment industry and clients of that nature who understand the value of counseling and those types of services, and they're willing to spend $375. The counselor out here, she does her counseling through different service centers, and she's paid by different service centers and nonprofits and government agencies and so on and so forth. So her prices are set there and so forth. Your price will determine whether or not you're a Walmart or a Neiman Marcus. In Dallas, we have both Walmarts and Neiman Marcus. What does that tell you? That tells you that there are people who are willing to spend money and there are people who are willing to spend more money. You have to decide. There's no shortage of either customers. There's no shortage of customers willing to spend this amount of money, and there's no shortage of customers willing to spend more money. You have to decide. And how you decide is how you promote it. That's the next one on there is promotion. Promotion is that tool, that vehicle that you're using to get that customer to just try you, to get that customer to step in and give you a try, and so forth. And the last one is your product itself. The product itself. Give me 1 second. I got to check something. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. So the product itself, and so forth. So what questions do you have about the 4 Ps and what you need to include in your marketing plan? Am I that good, ladies? No questions? Go ahead.
Patrick, can you talk a little bit more about strategies for determining those price points?
There's a couple different strategies for determining price points. When we're talking about a product, the first thing that you have to take into account is your cost of goods sold. What does it actually cost you to produce that particular product? So you always have to start there and figure out what your break even is on the cost of goods sold. After you've figured out what your cost of goods sold is, then you simply make a decision about what level of profitability do you want in terms of your margin. In other words, do you want to have a 10% margin, a 20% margin, a 40% margin, and you mark your product up based upon what margin you want to receive after you know your cost of goods sold. So that's the most simple strategy. The most dangerous strategy, and I think this is one man's opinion, but I think it's a pretty valid opinion. I think the least effective strategy is for you to go out there and look at the competition and say, well, because the competition charges A, I'm going to charge A. Because the competition charges B, I'm going to charge B. Well, how does that distinguish you from the competition? Right? You already haven't distinguished yourself on a price point. And if the price is exactly the same, if the price is exactly the same as your competition, then did the client really choose you because they really wanted you? Or now you got to go back and figure out why the client really chose you. If I charge more and they chose me and they know they can get it for less somewhere else, why did they choose me? For my coaching services, I charge up to $500 an hour for my coaching service. I'm typically anywhere between $325 and $500 an hour, depending upon which market I'm working in, so forth. I used to charge $175 an hour and so forth. But my coach was charging me $1,500 an hour. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so he realized I'm willing to pay him $1,500 an hour. That means that there are people out there who will pay $1,500 an hour. That's the client that I want. I want the client who's willing to pay $1,500 an hour. Where is that client? That client is sitting in the C-suite of a major corporation. That client is a founder of a multi-million-dollar company, right? So on and so forth. And so when it comes to pricing, I would not so much jump out there and say, well, what's the rest of the world charging? And then try and charge in that range. I would look at the value that I'm providing and then go back to my story. And I would sell my story to tell the customer, this is why you're paying the price that you're paying me. I do understand that you can get it cheaper here. Mercedes-Benz sells the best or nothing, right? Let me go, Mercedes-Benz doesn't really have a competitor in that market. Let me go over here and let's look at Toyota versus Lexus. Think about that. They're the exact same vehicle on the exact same chassis, built by the exact same company. But they charge this much for the Lexus and they charge this much for the Toyota. Why? Because the marketing for the Lexus has convinced you that the Lexus is worth more. It's the exact same vehicle. It truly is the exact same vehicle. But they've convinced you that it's worth that much more, so on and so forth. So the answer to your question, Julie, is choose the price, first of all, based upon your cost of goods sold, and then secondly, based upon your ability to communicate your value to the customer that you want to attract. Does that answer your question?
Sort of.
From a service standpoint, are you service or product?
I am service-based business.
Okay, so let me answer your question that way. From a service standpoint, it comes back to just the second part that I had. You've got to decide how much your time is worth. When I first started doing motivational speaking, I charged $300 for a motivational speech. Then I quickly raised my prices to $500 for a 1 hour motivational speech. Then I quickly raised my prices to $1,700. Quickly went to $5,000. Now I'm at $8,500 for 1 hour motivational speech. I do fewer speeches, but I attract better customers and so forth. And I'm okay with that. Why? Because I value my time. When I was doing $300 speeches, guess what? In 2004, when I was doing $300 speeches, I did 210 presentations, 160 days on the road. guess what? I don't want to be on the road for 160 days. But I still want to make that amount. I still want to make that amount of money. But I don't want to be on the road for 160 days. I don't want to do 210 presentations. So I raised my prices. I did less travel, did fewer presentations, and still brought in the same amount of revenue. Why? Because I valued my time. So if in a service business, the way that you make that decision is you have to personally decide what's the value of your time. And once you decide the value of your time, it goes back to marketing. It is your responsibility to communicate the value of your service to the customer to convince them that it's worth paying for. The biggest challenge that you as an owner have, Julie, and this is one of the number one things that I work with my entrepreneur clients on, is your own mindset. John Maxwell calls it the law of the mirror. You won't add value to yourself until you see value in yourself. You won't charge the right amount for your services until you see the value of your services. I don't have any problem charging $500 an hour for my services. I see the value of my services. I know the value of my service. I don't have any problems charging that amount of money at all. It doesn't bother me. I don't feel offended by it. I don't feel like none of that stuff comes through my head because I looked in the mirror, I looked at myself, and I know the value that I bring. And I'm able to communicate that to the client who's willing to pay the $500 an hour to spend that time with me. For your service, it's the same thing. You can continue to keep your price here and attract that customer and allow that customer to tell you, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Or you can believe in yourself and believe in the value of your service. And you can say, this is my price. That's what my price is. Right. And I understand it may not be for you. Right. I understand that. Does that answer your question, Julie?
That is helpful. Do you have suggestions? Like mindset is a big issue, and I've done mindset work to even get to the level that I'm at, and I know that there's growth. So what do you have suggestions for programs, resources, people in that area?
Yeah, the simplest thing I can suggest from a mindset is just starting with yourself, because truly, Julie, the answer is already inside of you. You have that potential. You have that ability to grow your mindset, and I can give you some other tools and resources. Mm-hmm. But it starts with you. And the one thing that I do, and I'll tell you exactly what I did, is I keep a gratitude journal, right? And every day I was writing in this gratitude journal. And about 3 weeks after writing in this gratitude journal, I ran out of things to write. I felt like I had literally written everything that I'm grateful for. I mean, literally, I went through family, I went through friends, I went through resources, I went through, literally, I mean, I just categorized it in so many ways. And about 3 weeks later, I had run out of stuff. And I said to myself, you know what? There's no way in the world that this list should ever end. The gratitude list should never, ever end. So I developed a habit that every single day when I wake up, I add one more thing to my gratitude list. Every single day I wake up, I did the same thing when it came to my value proposition, Julie. I sat down and I wrote what I think my value is and what value it is that I bring to the customer. And 3 pages later, I was done. And I was like, that's my value. That's what I bring. And then I thought about what I did from the gratitude journal, and I did the exact same thing. Every single day I wake up and I add one more item to my value journal. This is the value that I bring. This is the value that I bring. Mm-hmm. And just on looking at that every single day, nobody could convince you, nobody could downplay my worth. Nobody can convince me that I'm not worth what it is that I communicate that I'm worth. In fact, I'm ready to raise my keynote prices already. I keep them at where they are because I like the customer that I'm serving right now. Mm-hmm. But if I wanted to serve a different customer, I would raise that price easily because I recognize my value. But I have a specific customer that I want to serve, mm-hmm. and I like the price point that I have them in. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
All right. Super. So what other questions do you have, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sorry, Julie, did that answer your question?
It did. That was super helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Who else has a question? What other questions do you have regarding marketing, marketing strategy, marketing plan? Everybody's doing well. No questions out there. Cassie, I haven't heard from you. Sylvia, I haven't heard from you. No questions, comments, thoughts?
I have a comment. So I do, and I don't know if any of the other ladies have talked with Justina. Some of the things that we talked about, and even the pricing, she helps me with. So Justina Shaw, and I know she's on here. If you set an appointment with her, she has been amazing to help me. I know my mind shift. I'm a mother, so I can kind of want to mother, have a mother mindset whenever I'm dealing with customers. And also, I know for me that COVID, it was such a big hit. And so I'm so ready to go out there and do things. But she kind of helps me with, okay, fine, but the value, even like what you talked about concerning market segmentation, she helps keep me on track. And I know for me, I need that, because in my head I can think one thing and I'll kind of back down off of something, and she kind of urges me forward and be like, no, what did we say we were going to do? And then sometimes she helps me to reinforce myself about my intelligence and my value. But the mindset, like you talked about, is key. And that was one of the things the presenter talked about for Women Rise this morning as well. And, just showing how businesses rise and the percentage when it came to women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses and how much they make. I do believe that that mindset is really, really important.
Absolutely. And Justina, you're on the call. You want to chime in and just and share?
Well, I was going to introduce her. I'm not even sure she is our small business advisor, and there she has now shown her face. So Justina, this is Patrick Alcorn, and we've worked with him. He's done a great job with this, but I know some of the other women have talked with Justina as well, but I wanted everyone to have a face with her as well. Part of our part of getting the second half of the grant is either 3 hours of advising or mentoring. So it's very good to get to know her.
So yeah, sure. Hi, you guys. I wasn't sure what I should say, but I'm here to support your marketing needs. And like Patrick, everything you were saying, I was in the background clapping, like, yes, say that, say it louder, say it harder. So I was back here, and then I have the Will thing. I'm already on their website trying to figure out how I can become a member, because that product is amazing. And so I want to see how I can integrate that. But I also shared my link. You guys, you're in charge. You can schedule time whenever you want to for us to sit and talk. And this marketing conversation is a lot to take in, a lot. And sometimes you have to pull back and do little pieces at the time. And so before we full, and like Patrick is saying, this is a full plan. I like to call it our working plan that's constantly evolving and changing. And so this is not something that can be done in 2 hours, 3 hours. It really takes time. I think Shay and I, it took us a month to build her marketing plan. And so, but I'm here to walk you through it. And I promise you, I'm very, very sensitive to your purpose and your promise to the community that you're serving through your product or service. And I'm just here to listen and ask really quirky questions to get you see it differently. And then hopefully you will develop a marketing plan that you're proud of.
Awesome. And thank you, Justina. And I want you guys to hear what I want you ladies to hear what Justina just said. She said it took her X amount of time to build this marketing plan with Shay. And Justina, I want to do one little caveat to that. You guys together have built this initial marketing plan, because that plan will forever evolve. it will forever continue to grow and change and move and so on and so forth. But you've built a foundational plan from which Shay can continue to move forward, because she should never stop building that plan. She should always be looking for different components to add, different things to take out, as she learns more and more about her customer, more and more about her business, as she revises her product and service, and so forth. Those things continually move. Entrepreneurship is a dynamic process. It's not a static process. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end here. I have one final video that I want to share with you, or two final slides I want to share with you, and then we'll jump off. As a reminder, our Business Beyond the Battlefield Conference. Am I sharing my screen with you, by the way? Okay. Our Business Beyond the Battlefield Conference, we have set the dates for October 6th through 8th. The link is now available. I'll put that link back out there for you to go and get access to the leadership. And what I'm doing is, at the outset, anybody who signs up for leadership has free access to the entire 3 days of the conference. And then eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge for each day of the conference plus the leadership itself. So there'll be 3 different price points. But today, anybody who signs up for the leadership will actually have access to the entire conference. Remember, I'm still doing online Boost to Business. Most of you ladies do not need my Boost to Business programming, but you may know other ladies who might need that introduction to entrepreneurship, so forth. Our third Thursday Think Tank actually kicks off, I think, this Thursday, as a matter of fact. And this Thursday, we're talking about access to capital. So we have one of our lending partners coming in talking about how you can get money for your business. And then those other tools are still there. If any of you from our last class went out there and took a look at Profit Mastery, if you're interested in Profit Mastery, don't go directly to the Profit Mastery website. Link to me and so forth, and I'll sit down and I'll talk with Tracy and Donna Lisa, and we'll just put together a 2-day Profit Mastery course for you and so forth, and as opposed to you going out there trying to go through the website and finding an individual course. If I get 4 or more of you that are interested in Profit Mastery, then Tracy and Donna Lisa and I will just put together a course for you. Again, this is how you contact us in all the different ways, shapes, and forms through social media. And then last but not least, I want to share this with you. This is our highlight, our marketing video for Live to Lead.
Every one of you, you have a journey to take. You and I are already on the same first blank page.
When I reflect on my life, which I'm living right now, what will I be proud of?
You're positioned where you are because you are uniquely created to influence your organization and make a difference in this world.
And what's really important is to listen to yourself and then do what we really, really want to do, what's in our heart.
You have to make a decision during the process. Are you going to take the hard that comes with being successful, or are you going to take the hard with not being successful?
Don't forget where you came from, but don't you dare ever let it solely define you.
Don't you ever let anyone else write your story but you. You write on these pages the greatest story ever told.
So those were actually our speakers from last year, and we have John Maxwell is coming back this year with 4 more additional very dynamic speakers. So I want to encourage you to join us this year at our Live to Lead. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me today. Thank you again for allowing me to be here.
Thank you so much, Patrick. We loved having you, and such great information. And I know that they can reach out to you if they have any other questions or anything as well. So again, thank you. Donna Lisa, do you have a few things for the group?
Yeah, so just a quick reminder, don't forget, if you would like to, well, shoot, that was to join the Facebook group. Here is the link to that. We only have a few members in there, Right now, I have somebody that's sitting in a hold pattern. It's AMIGO. BAJIC. If that's you, I sent you a message. So that's the thing. If you're going to join the Facebook group, I had to make the group public so you could grab it. And then once I get everybody in there, I'll shut it down so nobody else can get in there. But that means other people can see it and ask to join. So if you're joining, like if you have a spouse or a partner, a sister or brother's Facebook that you're using, send the Center for Women Entrepreneurs a Facebook message and let me know that's you so I can promptly let you in. Otherwise, you'll just sit there and then eventually I'll just decline because I don't want anybody in there that's not supposed to be in there. And then a quick reminder that the social media feature, if you're wanting your business and you to be featured on social media, you have until Friday at noon to send that to me. Otherwise, after Friday at noon, that opportunity is gone. And I've only gotten 2. So that's all I have, Tracy.
Okay, very good. You did send a letter out too that had Justina's information as well, right?
Yep, it had Justina's information, had the social media feature in it. And there was one other thing that was in there.
Okay, so check your email. Sometimes we do have problems with our email. So if you aren't getting something, feel free to reach out and we can resend it to you as well. Thank you everyone for being here. We're so glad you're here. And especially glad that you got to meet Justina tonight. So if we can help in any way, please reach out and okay, Shauna.
So the 3 hours with the advising or mentorship, do we need to keep a log of that or how does that work?
Justina will have it here, but if you met with somebody else, even like if you work with those who work with Christina or anything like that, we will take that as part of it as well.
If I have a SCORE mentor, does it need to be through TWU?
We just, just address some of what you have going on with it. And you can just tell I met and we talk about, blah, whatever, or helped with my business plan or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Put my email in the chat. If you didn't get the social media feature or you didn't get that whole email with Justina's, please send me an email. And then it's much easier if you send it to me and then I can send something to you versus trying to grab names and stuff here in the chat.
And really, we'd love to feature all of you. That's a great way to promote your business. It goes to all the people that we know as well. And we often, and we share on all the social media. So it's great exposure for you.
Hey, Tracy, I just was thinking as we were talking about social media, and I don't know if y'all did send this, so I'm sorry if I missed it, but it would be cool if maybe when we got into Facebook, the Facebook group or something, if we all shared like the Instagram handles and all of our other accounts, whether it's just for business or business and personal, and so we can all like follow each other and get to know each other better.
And some of that is why we wanted the group too, so everybody can get to know each other better. You can collaborate, whatever it is you need if you have questions about what we're doing. But again, we really want to promote all of you and want to see all of you as a success.
How many of you are going to Be Wise in September? You'll know, it's really awesome. It's a conference for women veteran business owners. And
where can we find out more, or just Google VWise?
VWise, VWise.
Yeah, it was on TWU's website. That's how I found out about it. And also Justina told me.
Shay and I are going. So if anyone else is going, it'd be really cool to meet up there.
How much is it?
$75 for the registration. And you get your own room Friday, Saturday, meals paid and everything. Now, before the conference, there's an online course that you have to take. It starts in August. Mm-hmm. So that's the first half and you complete it, but it's like self-paced. Mm-hmm. And then the conference is in Nashville.
And it's all centered around growing your business and networking. And it's really
can I add to that?
Yeah.
So I attended VWise several years ago, and I also attended EBV, the Entrepreneurs Boot Camp for Veterans with Disability. And so EBV, I always like to say, is the meat and potatoes of the course, because when you come out, you're writing that business plan, and you can get a grant for it. VWise is, I like to say, the appetizer to it. And it's the female veterans with the spouses, the female spouses, right? But EBV is strictly the veteran, right? Regardless male or female and stuff. So, and actually there's a conference in September called Veterans Edge. So if you've attended VWise or EBV, they do their national conference right here in Dallas. So the program started out of Syracuse University. I attended Texas A&M, but I speak at Syracuse University. So that's another way of staying connected with veterans all across the United States that might be doing something that's similar to yours, and you can network and have those lessons learned and share from them.
What'd you call that last one?
Entrepreneur EBV, Echo Bravo Victor, or Veterans Edge. I think they might have went to.
For a year for that one.
Say again?
You have to be in business for a year for that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But VWise is great. I always like to say it's the appetizer and then go right into EBV. I did it backwards because I didn't know about VWise until I got to EBV. And I was actually still on active duty when I went.
So great resource. Thanks for sharing those.
See y'all next week. Hope you have a great week.
Bye, everyone.